Hello, I'm Deanna from upyourvibe.us, and I am going to do a little presentation on diarrhea. Hold on, this is bothering me. There we go. So, just a little bit about me. I am going to be giving the perspective of diarrhea from the German New Medicine perspective. My partner back in 2011, 12 was growing a lump on the side of his neck. First, it started little, then it got really big. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, horrible diagnosis, very scary, pulled us into a crazy world. So from that, I learned German New Medicine. And it just struck me right to my core, and I have to help people. So I have spent the last 4 years renovating my childhood home to the sanctuary of the inner song. So people that I'm working with, if they want to do some deep dives, can actually come here and we can get a year's worth of coaching in 2 to 3 days. So I'm very excited about that. But let's get down to diarrhea. All right. So I will use this. It's a drawing. This is one of the drawings that I use for many ways to teach this. So what we're seeing here in all these squiggly lines, the mountain, then it drops down. This is my drawing, my fun little drawing using my fun little iPad and pen of the German New Medicine compass. So a compass tells us what direction's going, of someone's going, right? So when somebody says, I have diarrhea, they are here. I'm like, yay. And they're like, what? They are here. And so I'm going to go through what that means. They are here, and that tells me something just got right in their world. And that is this point right here. Something resolved, like literally less than 12 hours prior to. Something just went well. So let's break this down. So what this green snake-like squiggly lines over here represents is our normal balanced rhythm. Daytime rhythm, we have energy. Nighttime, we rest and repair, is vagatonic. So energy is sympathetic. Vagatonic is the rest phase. So when we're in balance, we do this without thinking. Our body does everything else. So what takes us out of balance from the German New Medicine perspective, and what Dr. Hammer in the late 1970s discovered because of his own cancer, was that unexpected events, unexpected conflict shocks that catch us off guard. We're sleeping and all of a sudden the fire alarm goes on. You have a scare fright. You go for a job interview and they say you got it, and then they don't let you know that you can actually start. Why can't I start? When can I start? When can I get the money? So those sorts of things that catch us off guard, and we're alone with them. We're isolated. So we have balance. We have the shock that catches us off guard. So when somebody says, I have diarrhea, I have had chronic diarrhea for blah, blah, they have their story. That tells me that they have the theme of the shock that is responsible for the whole digestive tract is, I can't digest this, or I want to get rid of something. So the more intense it is, the further down in the digestive tract it is. Example, if I sell a couch on eBay or on Marketplace, and somebody comes and pays or picks it up, help them load, and they say, oh, I thought it was free. Shock. Not that this happened. um, even though the price was right in the title. Um, I'm like, what? Like, that was a shock. That's an example of shock. You owe me money. I just gave you this, and you're not going to pay me. So that moment of there's a hit to the brain. Actually, it's not up here. It would be back here in our brainstem. A hit to the brain. That's the shock. And it sends a message down to wherever in the intestinal, could be the stomach, could be the intestines. It sends a message to say, we need extra cells. It just happens like that. No thinking. There's no thought that you can go, no, we're not going to run this program. So right at that moment, there's what we call a special biological program of nature running. So you're automatically in this, I call it an exaggerated sympathetic phase. You start thinking wide and wow. You tell people you're trying to resolve it. You're asking them like, well, look, you owed me this money, blah, blah, blah. So you'll notice this is conflict active phase. So we will notice from now on that our hands and feet get cold. We start thinking about the conflict. We can't sleep well. We wake up a few hours after we go to bed, and the first thing on our mind is that situation. That's a clue to get up and try to resolve the conflict. So there's changes on the brain, and there's changes on the organ level. So what changes? You can see all this yellow writing. This, I did that on, I know it's hard to read, but I did it on purpose because a yellow program is an old brain program. And in that, there's the creation of extra cells. So when we have the shock, immediately we get a shock to our brain. The brain says extra cells down in the small intestine, the upper part, blah, blah, blah. And it starts this special biological program. There is also one specific symptom for this program, and that's constipation. You will notice that following day, you're not going to the bathroom very well. And if you do, it's a little bit. So that too is purposeful. And I'll give you this example. If an animal eats a bone, swallows a bone, and a bone is like this long and sharp, the biology, it makes sense to slow that down so that it can actually make it through all the twisty turns. So immediately we produce more acid in the stomach to break the bone down. Perfect biology. Then it starts moving through the small intestine. The small intestine's like, whoa, 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 whoa. So that is it's considered, I don't want to say that. So constipation is a clue from now on. If you're not going regularly, you probably have this program running or another stressor. So as soon as you can be conflict active for 1 hour, 1 minute and have it resolved, 1 hour and have it resolved, a week, a year, 10 years, 30 years. So as long as you're conflict active, how intense, how long and intense determines how many extra cells you are creating. So when we get to the healing of the diarrhea, we're going to match up why it's important to know when we're conflict active. Because all those extra cells, well, I'll tell you right now, they have to be broken down and they have to leave the body. So stay tuned for diarrhea. Okay, as soon as the conflict is resolved, and that is not the thinking brain, that is the psyche going, oh, I received the check. Oh, I received the job. Oh, I finally went out to dinner. Oh, I finally got whatever the story was. Immediately we drop down into a vagatonic phase. We get exhausted, and our microbes that are designed to break down these type of extra cells start going to work while we're sleeping. And then usually in a very short period of time, there's enough cells to be ready to come out. So we can't be sleeping and have the energy to have diarrhea. So our body's wisdom is incredible that it says, no more sleeping. We need to go into sympathetic. We need energy. We've got to get rid of these extra cells. And what comes out is also other food. So it all lands in the toilet. And well, I won't go into commentary. I have lots of pictures. So the peak of healing from I can't digest this situation and the resolve is diarrhea. Then what comes when we know all the signs that show up, because once one symptom shows up, the rest are predictable. So you'll have diarrhea, and it may start out one big blast, or it may start out a little bit, then get more intense, and then start dying down. When you are moving watery diarrhea and moving mucus, that is the best sign that you're almost done this special biological program of nature. Beautiful clues. It's very exciting. So you're like, any mucus yet? Any mucus yet? Then what we will expect is tired and exhaustion. Now, if you just had a day conflict, you had a situation with a friend or job or whatever, and it lasts 24 hours, you're probably going to not notice much of a symptom. You might be like, oh, that poo was a little weird. Oh, I needed a 5-minute nap. But if you have a conflict that goes on for a few weeks, couple months, years, the longer and intense, the more symptoms you have here and the more tired or exhaustion you have here. So when we get done breaking down and removing the cells, the extra cells, we drop into this vagatonic and we're tired, we're exhausted, then we wake up just enough to eat, and then we go back to sleep. And then for a little less, and then we wake up and have a little more energy, and then we go back to sleep. So the process of getting back to balance is not just this, oh, we're back to balance. It takes a little bit of patience and knowledge for longer conflicts. So this, if you've been dealing with chronic bowel issues, please keep looking, keep asking questions. I am an email away, I'm a text away. There'll be links to connect with me. This is so empowering that, and it applies to every other symptom of the body. Like we are wired incredibly. We just have to understand what our bodies are doing and not panic. And we most often don't even have to do anything. Like pregnancy. We get pregnant, it just creates millions of processes. All we have to do is keep the body safe, keep the baby safe. And then the epicrisis is the birth. Our bodies are incredible. We just have to understand them a little bit better. So thank you for taking time and listening. Hopefully it was a little entertaining because I don't like dry presentations, so I like to add a little flair. If I'm your style, you reach out and we'll figure out a way that we can move you through the symptoms so you can get back to whatever your passion is. And that is all I have to say about that. Okay. Deanna, upyourvibe.us, and I'm on Instagram. Oh, you don't need all that nonsense. Okay. Do something today. Survive. Peace. Turn this